YouTube broadcast on the Unacademy CAT-alyst channel. I hope you guys can hear me, and I'm just checking that. And uh, this is another session. This is a series of sessions that I'm taking with you. Yeah, I think I can hear you guys. So this is a session I'm taking on PYQs, previous year questions, with all of you, and uh, in the PYQs format, we are looking essentially at arithmetic questions first up in our sessions. So, without any further ado, I want you to start off with some arithmetic questions, and I want you to have a look at the question first, and we will look at each of these questions. We'll also take it in the form of a test. So, I'll give you 2 minutes per question. For every question, you get 2 minutes, and you try to solve it for 2 minutes first, and then we look at the solution together of these questions. So your timer starts now. This is your first question for today, and I'm picking up papers from questions from the CAT 17, 18, 19 papers, so that you get an idea of what kind of questions, etc. Good morning, Nilanjan. Welcome. You get an idea of the kind of questions you're facing, and it also gives you an idea of your current preparation level, or तुमको और कितना काम करना है to get to the level where you can solve these questions. So it's both a testing come a workshop series where I'll show you 3 questions at a time, and look, you take it as a test for 6 minutes, and then I'll come in and explain those 3 questions. So this is your first question for today. Thirty seconds more left for you to solve this. Okay, your time is up on this question. The second question for you. Thirty seconds more. Okay, your time is up. Third question. 3 questions at a time I'm showing you. And then we'll discuss the solutions of these questions. Question 3. Hi Mahesh, welcome to the class. Try to solve this question. We're going to discuss the solution of this one and the other 2 questions I've shown immediately after this. Yeah, Mahesh, I can see your name. Welcome. Welcome to the class. And I'm giving you 2 minutes on this question. One minute more to try to attempt this. Buldana, that's in Maharashtra, right? Mahesh? Thirty more seconds on this question. Then I'd start the discussion. Right, your time is up now. So let's start the first question. The first question says Arun's present age is in years is 40% of Barun's age. So when you read this particular statement, there is a reaction to the statement which you can have algebraically, and that reaction is essentially that if you take Arun's age or yeah, Barun's age as B, yeah, Barun's age as X, so Arun's age will be 0.4x. This is the starting reaction in this question. Barun का एज अगर x लिया है तो अरुण का एज 0.4x हो जाएगा. दिस इज द रिएक्शन फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट. आगे देखते हैं. In another few years, Arun's age will be half of Barun's age. So if I take this another few years to be, let's say, n years, तो बरुण का एज x प्लस n हो जाएगा इस पॉइंट पे, और अरुण का एज 0.4x प्लस n हो जाएगा. And what they are telling us about this is that in another few years Arun's age will be half of Barun's age. So Arun's age, which is 0.4x plus n, is going to be half of x plus n. So when you use this, you get this situation: 0.4x plus n upon x plus n is equal to half, or 0.5, or you can write it as 1 by 2. So when you solve this, essentially you will get 0.8x plus 2n is equal to x plus n. और इसको अगर n को एक तरफ कोलेट कर लो और x को दूसरी तरफ कोलेट कर लो. गुड मॉर्निंग याशी. If you collate n on one side and x on the other side, you will get n is equal to 0.2x. right? Now once you get that, the question is, by what percentage will Barun's age increase during this period? So you can see that Barun's age is increasing by n years, and that n years is basically 0.2x from the equation that we have just solved. So the correct answer to this question, because 0.2x is 20% of x, so the correct answer to this question will be 20%. So this is one way to solve this, and hence this answer is 20%. But there could be another reaction to this first statement that you could use. Let me just show you that reaction and that solution. So if I were to take the situation, or if I were to assume numbers, let's say Barun's age is 10. When I read that Arun's age is 40% of Barun's age, the first number that comes to mind is कि अगर Barun is 10 years old, तो Arun is 4 years old. And then they say in another few years, Arun's age will be half of Barun's age. तो इस केस में अगर देखोगे, तो you can clearly see that if I add 2 years here and 2 years there, तो ये 12 and 6 हो जाएगा, which I can get directly. And in this case also I can see that to Barun's age of 10 years, what we are adding is 2 years, and hence that's 20%. और अगर तुमको ये 2 नहीं दिख रहा था तो तुम इसको फिर 4 plus n divided by 10 plus n is equal to 1 by 2 से भी कर सकते थे. इसको भी सॉल्व करते तो 8 plus 2n is equal to 10 plus n. So n is equal to 2. इसको सॉल्व करके भी मिलेगा तुमको. And the best part of this question is that it does not depend on 10 and 4 respectively. अगर तुम suppose you had taken Barun's age is 5 and Arun's age being 20% of that is 2. Even in this case, you can see that 1 year if you add to Arun's age and 1 year if you add to Barun's age, you'll get half of each. So ऐसे questions को numerically भी सोचना चाहिए, because this will become very simple. Because see, in a question like this, since the question is asking you by what percentage will Barun's age increase during this period. So the structure of the question is such. I mean, how do you understand that इसमें value से कर सकते हैं? You need to understand that the structure of the question is such that कोई भी एज ले लोगे अरुण और वरुण का, as far as you maintain the two conditions. कौन सा conditions? Arun's present age should be 40% of Barun's. So 5-2 maintains it, 10-4 also maintains it. And another few years, Arun's age will be half of Barun's. So 10-4 में कितना लगेगा, 5-2 में कितना लगेगा, how many years? तो ये जो question पूछा है, by what percentage will Barun's age increase during this period? This is independent of what age you take to start with. तुम 10-4 लो, 15-6 ले लो, 15-6 ले लो. Even if you take 15-6, you will see, if you take 15 and 6, you will see कि 3 years लगेगा to get to half the value. And if the question is such that 15 पे लेने पे मेरा percentage कुछ और आएगा और 5 लेने पे percentage कुछ और आएगा, in that case ये question पूछा ही नहीं जा सकता है, because then it's not determinable. And especially if it's given as a theta question like it was in CAT. If it is a theta question, then they cannot be determined. Theta question always have a numerical answer. So you have to be able to have that vision that, because this is a 5-second solution literally, and compare it to x and x plus n solution जो कि तुमको लिख के करने में करीब 45 सेकेंड 1 मिनट लगेगा. बहुत बार उतना टाइम नहीं रहता है. सपोज यू आर स्ट्रगलिंग होता है, और एग्जाम में क्या होता है ना, वाई स्पीड बिकम्स इम्पॉर्टेंट इज बिकॉज व्हेन यू स्टार्ट सॉल्विंग, एंड दिस इज इम्पॉर्टेंट component of your strategy, when you start solving the paper, initially at time equals 0, at t equals 0, when the timer starts, you have 100% questions left and you have 100% time left. You have 100% questions left and 100% time left. This is a starting point. Now होता क्या है कि if you are I mean, I'm not necessarily saying solving the question, but even if you are seeing the question and moving on, suppose first question तुमने देखा, तुमसे नहीं हुआ, तुम आगे बढ़ गए, तो किसी point पे, I mean, there are two kinds of processing you do on questions. One processing is you solve. You solve to the solution. And the second processing of a question is that you once you start solving, you abort. After some time, you have a deep look at the question and you don't do it, or you take a no go on the question. तो क्या होता है कि अगर हम लोग तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन प्रोसेसिंग का विंडो देखें कि आफ्टर लेट्स से 20% टाइम लेफ्ट इज 80%, an ideal attempt should be that you should have processed 20% of the questions. That means you should be around the 7th question out of 34. 34 questions का पेपर होता है CAT का. तो at 20% time, that means at 12 minutes, you have to be around the 7th question. लेकिन ये होता नहीं है practically. If you guys have started solving, first question was CAT question only, Utkarsh, so CAT level ही होगा. I'm picking up CAT questions only, so it's obviously CAT level. So as I was saying, at 12 minutes you have to be on the 7th question or around the 7th question. You can't be on the 4th question in 12 minutes. But what happens is, for many people, the question list or the treadmill of the questions goes slower than the treadmill of time. So when you check, suppose 2 lakh people are starting with 100% questions left and 100% time left. 0, time equals 0, question is equal to number 1 you are entering. तो अगर 12 मिनट बाद चेक करोगे across the country, and this is from my experience, I am telling you, across the country, what you will see is, of the 2 lakh people who are taking the exam, maybe 1.5 lakhs or even more, maybe even more, 75-80% of the people, by the 12th minute, they will be behind on questions process. So by 12 minutes, they will be somewhere around the 4th question. And if you look at the 30th minute, you will realize that 99.5% of the people, maybe even 99.9% of the people, by the 30th minute, when they should have covered, they should be around the 17th question. You will see that most of them are in the 10th, 12th, 13th question, some people even lesser. And there are three parallel axes that continue running in these exams, and this is important for you to understand strategy, so that you can understand how to organize your prep. So एक तो तुम्हारा टाइम का विंडो चल रहा है. Let me just expand this a little bit. एक तुम्हारा टाइम का विंडो चल रहा है, दूसरा तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन सीन का विंडो चल रहा है, और तीसरा तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन सॉल्व का विंडो चल रहा है. So suppose you enter the exam with a target that you want to attempt around 24 questions. Suppose you enter the exam with a target that you want to attempt 24 questions. ठीक है, तो you have 100% time left initially, you have 100% questions left, 34 questions left, and so this is your question solved window, और question 24 questions का target है तुम्हारा. So this first axis is your question solved. The second axis is question seen. And the third axis is time. तो होगा क्या कि अगर अगर हम एक 20 मिनट टाइम फ्रेम देखें, at the 20-minute time frame of the exam, that means 33.33% of the paper, or time wise. So you should have, on the question scene logic, you should be around the 11th 12th question. And the question solved logic, you should have attempted around 8 questions. Because but practically what happens for most people in the exam, and you can test this for yourself also, तुम्हारा 24 का टारगेट अगर है तो तुम 5 अटेम्प्ट पे रहोगे 30-20 मिनट बाद, और तुम 9वें क्वेश्चन पे रहोगे. So what is happening is that the next 20 minutes, if you want to make up, you have to see 15 questions. And if you want to make up, you have to solve 11 questions. And this starts going out of scope for you. So that's why जब इस तरह के time pressure में, so you are under immense time pressure here. And then that time pressure increases further if you're not able to make up here. Let's say you're on the 16th question by 40 minutes. You're on the 16th question by 40 minutes. So in the next 20 minutes, you have to see 18 questions, which is not possible. Your time pressure is gone. You will not be able to get the stability you require for problem solving. See, for problem solving, you need a stable mind and you need stable time. If you do not have that stability, all your practice goes to waste. So ये last 20 minutes में most of the people solving are not doing what they have practiced, because they are in a situation where they do not have the stability of living inside the question. You can solve a question only if you spend time with it. So ये तुम्हारे पास टाइम ही नहीं है, टाइम रन आउट कर गया, तुम्हारा टारगेट अब ये हो गया है कि तुमने 12 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किए हैं और लास्ट 20 मिनट में तुमको 12 क्वेश्चन और सॉल्व करना है. तो no matter how good you are, to the best of people, this time pressure starts getting created. और स्पीड इंपॉर्टेंट इसलिए हो जाता है कि बिकॉज अगर ये टाइम प्रेशर क्रिएट हुआ तो आर यू एबल टू रिकवर बैक by the end of the time frame, because otherwise the time pressure is going to get so bad that by the end of the exam you won't be able to do anything. And this is the story of 99% CAT aspirants, right? So let's look at the second question now. A person can complete a job in 120 days. He works alone on day 1. On day 2 he is joined by another person who also can complete the job in 120 days exactly. On day 3 they are joined by another person of equal efficiency. Like this, every day a new person with the same efficiency joins the work. How many days are required to complete the job? So what you have to think here is let the work output or the work in units be defined as 120 units. Assume that the work is 120 units. Assume that your work is 120 units, and then what happens is on day 1, one person is working, and since everybody finishes the work in 120 days, the efficiency of the work, since all the workers who are working in this question can finish the work in 120 days, the efficiency of the work is basically 1 unit per day per person. So when one person works, he does 1 unit of the work. So day 2 पे क्या हो रहा है? Day 2 पे he is joined by another person who can do the work in 120 days. He can join. This is the CAT 17 paper, by the way, those of you asking. Is this CAT level? This is all CAT questions, so they are CAT level. So on day 2 he is joined by another person who can complete the job in exactly 120 days. So that means on day 2 2 people are working, so the work done will be 2 units. And day 3 pe 3 people will work, so the work done will be 3 units. And day 4 pe 4 people will work, so the work done will be 4 units. So essentially you need to find out the sum of the numbers till n such that the sum is 120 or more than 120. So you know the formula for n into n plus 1 by 2 is equal to 120. So n into n plus 1 is n into n plus 1 by 2 is 120. So that makes n into n plus 1 as 240. This becomes 240, and that you can solve with n square plus n is 240, and you can clearly see that n as 15 works perfectly here, because n square, you have to think of the last square below 240, that's 225, and 225 plus 15 will give you 240, and hence that will be the answer. So the number of days required will be 15. और ये ऐसे, instead of going here in this solution, you could also have gone straight by the addition of the numbers. जैसे 1 to 10 का numbers का total 55 होता है. This you should know. This number is 55. So 11th day plus 11, that will make it 66. Plus 11 makes it 66. Plus 12 makes it 78. Plus 13 makes it 91. Plus 14 makes it 105. And plus 15 makes it 120. So you can do it this way also, that it's 15. So any which way you do it, you will get the answer is 15 in this question. ठीक है. अगर इस क्वेश्चन में एक वेरिएशन कर दूं मैं, suppose I say that the work can be completed in 121 days, and I ask you on which day will the work get completed. Hi Diksha, welcome to the class session. Sorry, did not see your chat. I'm just seeing it. So if I give 121, तो 15 days में 120 होगा, तो 16 day पे पूरा दिन यूज़ करोगे तो 16 days more होगा, 16 वर्क और हो जाएगा, तो 16th डे पूरा करोगे तो 136 हो जाएगा. लेकिन तुमको पूरा करना नहीं है उसको. If the number was 120, 121, then the thought is that if they ask you what is the number of days rounded off, you'll say 16 days. ठीक है, अगर 121 days दिया हुआ है कि everybody can do it in 121 days. Otherwise, if you want the exact answer, तो 15 days तो 15 days तक 120 वर्क हो जाएगा, और 16 day पे since 16 people working and only 1 unit work is left, so 1 by 16 of the 16 day will be used for that. This is the solution to this question. ठीक है, let's have a look at the third one. An elevator has a weight limit of 630 kgs. This is a simple question. It is carrying a group of people of whom the heaviest weighs 57 kg and the lightest weighs 53 kgs. So the elevator's weight carrying capacity is 630 meters, 630 kgs, and it is carrying a group of people whose lightest weight is 53 kgs and the heaviest weight is 57 kgs. Right? That is the situation. Then the question asks you, what is the minimum possible number of people in the group? तो अगर तुमको number of people minimize करना है with this constraint, maximize करना है, you have to maximize the number of people. In this situation, if you want to maximize the number of people, so what you'll have to do is you'll have to take the maximum number of 53 kg people But because the question says that there are people between 53 to 57 kgs, you'll have to take 157 kg person. So when you take 157 kg person, the weight left or the weight capacity left in the lift is 630 minus 57, which is 573. So ये 573 kgs 53 kg people से भरना होगा. And when you do that, 573 by 53, you will see that 10 more people can join. The capacity is 10, you can't put an 11th person. ठीक है ना? So that means 10 people of 53 kgs and 1 person of 57 kgs if you fit in. This will be the maximum number of people you can fit into the lift while obeying the constraint of the weight limit of 630 kgs. So the correct answer to this question is going to be 11. Right, so I hope you enjoyed the session. Just wanted to remind you about my plus classes. Unacademy Plus पे I am taking courses on logical reasoning and data interpretation mainly. Logical reasoning का भी एक मेरा course चल रहा है, which is the foundation course on logical reasoning. It just started this month. And starting on 15th June, there's a course from my side which is called which is an advanced course on data interpretation. So this course is coming up on 15 June, and upcoming courses from me will be advanced course on LR 200 must do questions in quants, and apart from also come up with courses like ZAT special, crash courses, etc. And if you want to join Unacademy Plus, you can use my promo code. The promo code to use for joining Unacademy Plus is arun.yt. If you use this promo code, you'll get a 10% discount on the existing fees. Arun.yt is the promo code. Just use that, and you can attend my classes. And I would love to have some of you coming in to the sessions. So I'll wind up with this. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. I'll be back tomorrow same time, 11:30, and we will continue this course on previous year questions on arithmetic. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Stay safe and